Yeah.
We recently had a field trip to Naga Farms, and I was surprised that they were using different products from the mango tree. Like one of their big products is mango leaves,
Yeah.
which I'd never heard of, and it made me think, well, maybe there are other products from a mango tree other than
Absolutely.
the fruit,
Yeah.
like the pollen or the.
So the big one, the leaves, right? The reason people sell the leaves is twofold. One is they're used in traditional Hindu ceremonies in India. So there's a big market. Anytime there's a Hindu wedding, they're supposed to have mango leaves present, for example. The other is health benefits. So they can make a tea, and I make a tea out of mango leaves, actually, that I drink at home. Yeah. And there's pretty incredible health benefits from mangoes, especially in the form of a compound called mangiferin. This isn't like bogus stuff. This is actually has peer-reviewed studies to support it. But this compound that's in mangoes can be found in the seeds, a little bit in the flesh, but not much, the skin, and the leaves. And it has pretty tremendous benefits in terms of cardiovascular health, neurological health, anti-cancer benefits. So you can make a tea out of the leaves. It just tastes like tea. Yep. And people are buying the leaves for that purpose. So, yes, there's value beyond just the fruit.
What about the pollen?
Yes, I dried them, but you don't have to. What about the pollen?
Yeah, could you maybe use the pollen?
Perhaps, but I don't know of any uses for it. So,
It'd be hard to gather.
Yes.
What about people who are allergic to mango?
Okay. I'm not sure. I am allergic to mangoes, and I've had no problem with the leaves. So take that into consideration.
Use the mature leaves or the fresh leaves?
Or the actual fruit?
Any leaves.
The meat.
I'm sorry, what?
You're allergic to the skin?
The allergy is caused by the oil that's contained in the sap. The sap then gets on the skin and sometimes the flesh when you're cutting the fruit. So that's what triggers the allergy. But apparently when I consume the leaves in the form of the tea, I don't seem to have any problem. Every mango, and I didn't used to be allergic to mangoes. I developed the allergy as I worked with them. But I'll get a rash on my skin in different parts of my body, especially on my my arms, but sometimes on my chest. And that happens every year, and it's worse with certain mangoes than others. But the tea, I've never had a problem. So.
With me, it's Tommy Atkins and Hayden and turpentine mangoes and ice cream mangoes. I'm allergic to those and not to the others.
Really? Wow.
I have a follow-up question about the leaves. Is it kind of like soursop leaves where you can have too much? Is there a certain dosage?
Soursop has a neurotoxin in it, okay? So now, does mango have a neurotoxin? As far as I'm aware, no. So the studies that they've done, both with animal studies and humans, have shown that there's not really like a set limit on how much you can consume before it becomes problematic. I'm not saying that it can't if you consume way too much, but in the reasonable amounts, it has not shown any issue. But with soursop, because of what's the name of the compound? Annonacin.
Well, there are quite a few different. Just call them annonaceous alkaloids because there are dozens of them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there's studies that show that if you consume too much of that compound, which is found in various annona fruits and in the leaves as well, it can cause neurotoxicity, which can lead to Parkinson's isms, I guess.
Atypical Parkinson's.
Yeah.
In the fruit too?
Yes, from eating too much of the fruit. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. So unfortunately,
Oh.
Have one other question in reference to allergies, like in the beauty products or the facial type products, are they using mango for anything? I've heard that mango is very good for skin rejuvenation, but
that might be, and I haven't investigated that stuff too much, unfortunately, but I should, as somebody that grows mangoes for a living. So there might be, but I can't comment on that. Yeah.
Could you talk about mango roots? Like how far out do they go? And just what are some of the issues with roots?
Well, they can go pretty far. You can imagine that the roots may spread beyond the width of the canopy in many circumstances. So if you've got, a tree with a 15-foot wide canopy, it might be going beyond that length in terms of how far it can spread out. The depth of their roots can also go quite deep. Now, in terms of the interference they cause with surrounding structures or things of that sort, that's hard for me to say. I haven't witnessed personally too much problems from their roots.
I have.
Okay.
Busted my pipe.
Okay. Well, I would never plant them near a septic drain field. I'll tell you that
Roots
much.
can be as thick as the trunk of the tree.
Yes, they can be. Yes. So, but as a farmer, I don't have to be too concerned about where I plant them. So,
On the leaves being tea, is there a particular mango tree that would be more potent for us?
yes, but that's not well studied. So I will tell you about the leaves and the tea is that the fresher leaves contain more mangiferin in them than the older leaves, but even the older leaves will have it. What they did find in one study that I read was that they compared 3 or 4 different cultivars, one of which was the Carabao or the Philippine, and that had a higher content than Tommy Atkins and a couple others in terms of how much mangiferin is in the leaves. There are other beneficial compounds in the leaves besides mangiferin, but that's like the heavy hitter compound that they're really looking for. So if we did a cross study when we compared a bunch of different cultivars, I bet you'd find pretty big disparities in terms of how much is in there, but there's going to be some benefit to even whatever you might have in your yard.
So do you dry them out?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I harvest them, I'll dry them out, let them dry out for maybe 3 or 4 days before using them. I find the flavor of the tea is a little better at that stage as well. And but you can use them fresh. I've made tea with the fresh leaves too. It's just a little weaker and not as intense, I suppose.
How often do you drink?
How many leaves do you use?
How many leaves do I use? I don't count. What I do is I just every couple weeks or so I go out and harvest some out of my backyard. But
What do you put it in a pot of boiling water?
yeah, I put it in what I'll usually do is I'll take these dried leaves and I'll put them in a blender and blend them up. And I'll take those and I'll put them in an infuser that's in a teapot and just fill it with water up as far as I can. And I heat it up on the stovetop for maybe 7 to 10 minutes or something like that. And then I let it steep for another half an hour or so. And then once it's cooled down, I drink it sometimes with a little bit of lime juice or something. I don't add any sweetener to it. So I just drink it as is. And it's usually pretty dark.
Yeah.
Did you say something?
Yeah, how often do you drink?
I drink it in the morning and the evening.
Oh, every day.
I drink it every morning.
Every day. And
every morning.
I think it has pretty good health benefits. So, I mean, it has benefits also, by the way, towards blood sugar, weight loss, things like that, if you're worried about that sort of thing. So,
Is it true that it helps you bulk up without lifting weights?
I've never heard that. Never heard that.